CEO's life change exposed. How one girl's incredible piano reveal transformed hearts forever. In the heart of a worn suburban neighborhood, under the twilight glow of a dimly lit street, Mia sat at her family's battered piano, fingers trembling over the keys. Tonight, she would unveil a hidden part of herself, a slice of her soul wrapped in melody. It was more than just a performance, it was a declaration of her existence. Little did she know, this moment would echo far beyond the confines of her small town. Mia's hands danced across the ivory keys, producing a sound that soared through her modest living room and beckoned the neighbors like a siren's call. Each note was a whisper, a vulnerable confession of what dreams meant when they're wrapped in financial strain, family expectations, and the scars her father bore from his past. Could the same music that stirred her heart also resonate with the deafening silence of their struggles? As the notes floated outward, they caught the attention of a few neighbors who paused, captivated by the beauty emerging from that humble home. "Wow," whispered Mrs. Jackson next door, glancing over at her husband, her eyes wide with surprise. "I never knew Mia could play like that." Yet within the confines of Mia's heart, self-doubt gnawed viciously. She was late to the audition for the corporate charity fundraiser, her chance to shine. Her mother's voice echoed in her mind, steeped in the trepidation of artistic dreams. "Mia, music doesn't pay the bills." Would they ever understand? Would her father, who nodded off on the couch, haunted by shadows of his past, see the glint of potential he had once carried? The fundraiser was set to reunite the community and showcase life beyond struggle, but for Mia, it felt like a mirage. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The night of the fundraiser arrived, electric with possibility, but Mia felt small, invisible in a whirlwind of glitz and ambition. She stood hidden behind a fluttering curtain, watching local luminaries whisper and laugh, their shiny lives contrasted with her own unsung struggles. When the time for auditions came, anxiety turned her fingers to stone. The notes she played felt like mere echoes of an unformed dream. Disappointment dripped from her heart. Was she destined to remain in this sea of skepticism, held back by fear and family ties? Yet as the event unfolded, Mia felt a surge within her. Grasping her courage, she stepped forward, uninvited but unwavering. The spotlight found her at the piano, and the chattering crowd hushed. For that heartbeat of a moment, she existed as she had not before. With each touch of the keys, she poured her heart, her family's struggles, her own desires into a melody that resounded with furious passion. The room filled with emotions as raw and real as the scars borne by the veterans and working families around her. The powerful CEO, who had once been one of them, found himself captivated. Perhaps, in Mia's music, he could hear the echoes of his own forgotten purpose. Watching her play, he felt something shift within, a sense of responsibility beyond mere success. As the last note faded, the audience erupted in applause, and Mia stood frozen, dripping with joy and trepidation. Her eyes searched the crowd for her family. Would they feel the pride rising within her? Would they understand that she had not just played a piece but had poured her heart into that very moment? Now, everything hung in the balance. Would her newfound promise change her life, or would it create a rift that could fracture their fragile unity? The applause lingered, and as the crowd's cheers washed over her, Mia was left pondering whether to chase her dreams or remain bound by her family's fears. The night stretched before her, shimmering with possibility, like a canvas waiting for paint. Mia stood there, breathless under the bright stage lights, her heart pounding in rhythm with the last notes that lingered in the air. Applause washed over her like a warm embrace, yet she felt a chill creeping into her bones. What would her family say when the moment of excitement faded? Would they applaud her? Or dismiss her performance as just another fleeting dream? She scanned the crowd, searching for familiar faces. Her mother, with a soft yet guarded expression, stood awkwardly near the back. Her father remained seated, seemingly lost in thought. Mia felt small again, swallowed by her family's expectations that loomed over her like a storm cloud. Murmurs swirled around her as people reached for their phones, capturing the moment, sharing it to the world in an instant. Incredible! One person exclaimed. She's brilliant. Another added. Yet for Mia, praise felt like both a gift and a weight, pressing down on her shoulders. Was the admiration merely for the moment, or would it hold meaning for the future she longed to shape? As she stepped off the stage, the CEO approached her, his presence commanding yet gentle. He extended his hand, a glimmer of respect in his eyes. You have a rare talent, Mia. Have you considered pursuing music further? You could inspire so many more. Her breath hitched at the idea. I want to, she stammered, words spilling forth like an unguarded secret. But my family, they don't see it that way. He nodded, his expression understanding. Sometimes, the hardest part is finding the courage to go after what we truly want, not what others expect of us. Your music has the power to change lives, Mia. Don't let fear stifle that gift. The words resonated deep within her. It wasn't just about the performance, but the message wrapped inside. She realized then that if she wanted to be free, she would have to break through the expectations that held her like chains. Just as she began to pull herself together, a cry pierced through the noise of the crowd. A familiar voice, her father. He had finally stood up. Mia. His tone was desperate, filled with urgency, and it snapped her back to the moment. The applause faded, the spotlight dimmed, and all that mattered was him. Mia. He called again, his eyes wide with something she hadn't seen in years, fear, worry, but also a flicker of hope. She turned to him, unsure of what he would say next. Would he support her newfound dream? Or scold her for chasing foolish fantasies? The spotlight seemed to dim and the noise of the crowd faded, leaving just the two of them, suspended in a fragile moment of possibility. I saw you up there, he said, voice shaking. You were extraordinary. Mia's heart raced. Was this the moment she had longed for? A bridge built through the music she loved. But just as realization dawned, she felt the walls of doubt close in again. Could the fear of her family's expectations still overshadow the dream awakening within her? As hope danced like a flickering flame, she wondered, could this night be the beginning of everything changing? Or was it simply the start of a more challenging journey? The crowd faded into the background as Mia focused solely on her father's eyes. What would he say next? The night shimmered with uncertainty, holding its breath, waiting for the next move. Mia. He stepped closer, his voice trembling with what felt like half-formed memories. The crowd continued to murmur, but to Mia, it faded into a buzzing silence. All she could hear was her father's words, the weight of his gaze. Thank you, she whispered, feeling a warmth in her chest. But, what about Mom? What about our plans? She thought of the endless conversations about stability, about following the safe path. Music didn't fit into their map, her father sighed, his shoulders sagging as if the long-held burdens of their family's expectations had suddenly grown heavier. I wasn't sure if you'd ever find something that brought you joy. He paused, looking deeply into her eyes, searching for something, the truth, perhaps. I never wanted to hold you back. There it was again, that flicker of hope. Holding her breath, Mia leaned in. But it feels like I'm supposed to choose. Music or, what you and Mom want for me. He ran a hand through his hair, a nervous gesture Mia hadn't seen in years. I know we've pushed you to follow a path, one that felt safer. But tonight you showed us who you are. For the first time, I really saw you. The way you played, it was everything. The warmth that spread through Mia made her want to cry. It was like a door had opened, letting in light she had thought was lost forever. But doubt still lingered like shadows. What if you still don't approve? What if I don't succeed? Her father's brow furrowed and then softened. Success isn't just about money or status. It's about passion. If you're passionate about music, I want to support that. I know it won't be easy, but nothing worth having ever is. Mia's resolve grew. She wanted to believe him. What if I try to make it work? The music, it fills something inside me that's been empty for so long. That's your answer, Mia, he smiled, finally shedding the weight of his own expectations as if he had shared the burden with her. Go chase it. We'll figure it out together. As they stood there, the crowd buzzing around them, she felt a swell of determination. This was a moment that could change everything. For years, she had felt alone in her dreams. But now, the light from her father's words illuminated a path she was ready to walk. Just then, her mother approached, eyes glistening with unshed tears. The soft lines on her face told a different story, one of anxiety, but also of pride. Mia, she said, her voice gentle, I'm sorry for not understanding. I didn't know how much this meant to you. But I see it now. A mixture of relief and anxiety washed over Mia. She had longed for her mother's support but feared the weight of their reality. Would her mom fully accept this change? Mia took a breath, the air charged with possibilities. I want to go to music school. I want to give this a real shot. Her pulse quickened at the thought. Her mother blinked, taking a step back, caught in the web of her own thoughts. A tension hung in the air, thick and unrelenting. If that's what you truly want, she began, words slow but deliberate. As hope battled uncertainty inside Mia, she wondered, was this the moment everything would shift for her family, finally breaking through? Or would it become another hurdle she had to face alone? The performance may have ended, but the biggest stage of all, the stage of her life, was just beginning. Would she rise to the challenge or falter under unspoken fears? Mia's heart raced as her mother's words hung in the air, charged with unspoken doubts and dreams. She watched her mother's expression shift, a battle of love and fear playing out in her eyes. For a moment, all else faded away, the applause, the crowd, the weight of expectation. Nothing mattered more than this pivotal moment with the two people she loved most. I know it's sudden, her mother finally said, her voice steadying, but if you believe in yourself, then she paused, a slight tremor in her hands. Then maybe I should too. Relief washed over Mia like a warm wave. Her mother, the foundation of her childhood, was willing to take a leap with her. I just need time to process, her mother added, and though her words were cautious, they brimmed with a newfound openness. Mom, I don't want you to feel pressured. This is my choice, not yours. Mia felt tears prick the back of her eyes, a mixture of gratitude and lingering fear. Would her mother fully embrace the unpredictable path of music? Sweetheart, it's just I need to adjust to the idea of you chasing something so uncertain, her mother replied, crossing her arms. This world isn't easy, you know that. I just want you to be safe. Mia nodded, understanding her mother's protective instinct. Yet, something deep within her stirred at that moment, the realization that life was inherently uncertain. I know it won't be easy. But if I don't try, I'll regret it. I've spent too long living for everyone else. It's time I live for me. Her father stepped closer, placing a hand on her shoulder. That's the spirit, Mia. You deserve this. The emotional weight in the air shifted slightly, and Mia sensed hope thickening the atmosphere. Each word exchanged, each glance shared, built a bridge rather than a wall. They were all in this together, ready to navigate uncharted territory. Have you thought about applying yet? Her father asked, his enthusiasm subtly shining through his usual reserve. I've been working on a few songs. I think I'll submit one of those. Mia felt a spark ignite inside her, a sense of purpose mingled with the thrill of the unknown. As the evening grew darker outside, couples and families trickled away, leaving them together in a stillness that felt unfamiliar yet comforting. Her father's enthusiasm warmed her, and her mother's cautious encouragement was a balm to her rebellious heart. But what if this doesn't work out? Her mother's eyes glistened again. What if you're making a mistake? Mia considered that for a moment, the fear creeping in as if to challenge her resolve. What if it does? She countered, her heart thumping louder with every word. What if I find my voice? What if I build a career around something that makes me feel alive? Her father smiled again, a genuine brightness illuminating his features. Then we'll figure it out. Together. Mia took a deep breath, feeling as if they were all standing at the edge of a precipice, ready to leap into the unknown. Just then, her phone buzzed, jarring the moment. It was a notification from a music school she had considered. They were holding auditions soon, and submissions were due in a week. A rush of excitement and fear collided in her chest. I have to go for it, she said impulsively, resolve hardening into action. Wait, Mia. What if you don't get in? What if you fail? Her mother implored, eyes pleading. What if I do? Mia shot back, her courage crystallizing. What if everything changes from this one choice? What if this is the moment I become who I'm meant to be? As silence enveloped them, her words echoed in the stillness. It felt as if they were standing at a crossroads, with anxiety and hope battling fiercely beneath the surface. Her mother's expression softened, touched by her daughter's fierce determination. Then go on and show the world your music, she murmured. But as Mia felt the weight of possibility settle in, she couldn't shake the undercurrent of fear. What if success did not come? What if her dreams dissolved into mere echoes of her desire? Ahead of her, the path loomed vast and uncertain. What lay at the end of this road could either be a symphony of triumph or a haunting silence. Would she find the strength to continue, or would her fears drown out the music? Mia's fingers trembled slightly as she navigated the late-night streets, the crisp air fresh against her flushed cheeks. She left the warm embrace of home behind, her heart pounding with excitement and uncertainty. The weight of the decision to audition pressed down on her like a heavy blanket, but the prospect of sharing her music burned brightly within. Her mind raced with possibilities, each thought tangling into another. What if the judges didn't like her songs? What if they scoffed at her dreams? But then, a flicker of resolve rose. The music was hers, raw and real. It was a reflection of her heart, and she was determined to let it shine. The following day, she sat in her room, surrounded by scattered sheets of music and half-finished lyrics. Inspiration flowed, and each note filled the walls with life. There was an electric charge to the atmosphere, as if the universe were holding its breath in anticipation of her next move. She knew her songs needed to speak to others, to pull them closer, to reveal her essence. Mia pretended the room was filled with an audience, her family cheering her on. A deep breath steadied her. She began to sing, her voice filling the space, echoing off the walls, the melody rising, flowing like a river through memories of doubt and sleepless nights. Hours flew by, and as she fought to capture each fleeting moment of inspiration, her fingers moved deftly across the keys. An idea struck her: she could share her journey through this audition. More than just a chance to be accepted, it wrapped itself in an opportunity to be vulnerable, to show the world who Mia truly was. After countless revisions, she finally settled on a song that expressed her struggles and her exhilaration. It wove in her fears, her dreams, and the love she held for her family. It was about growth and embracing the unknown. She smiled, her heart swelling with pride. This wasn't just a song anymore, it felt like an extension of her soul. As the day of the audition approached, anxiety coiled tightly in her stomach. Doubts threatened to surface, but with each passing hour, she pushed them down. She rehearsed in front of her family, each strum of the guitar echoing with hope. Her father beamed, and her mother wiped away tears, her fears slowly transforming into something more supportive. "Remember, Mia," her mother whispered one evening, "this is about you sharing your voice, not about fitting into someone else's mold. Own this moment." In that moment, Mia understood. She didn't need to impress anyone, she simply needed to express herself. That realization spun a warmth through her, and she felt lighter. The day of the audition arrived, with a storm of emotions swirling inside her. Standing before the grand building, her heart raced. Each step echoed with possibility, 1,000 what-ifs cascading around her. She took a deep breath, heart pounding, palms sweating, and pushed through the doors, the lobby buzzing with hopefuls. Voices blended, laughter punctured the air, but it all faded as she stood before the hallowed stage. Shot after shot of fear wrapped around her but was tempered by the thought of her family standing behind her, whispering encouragement. As she stepped to the microphone, lights dimmed, and the world narrowed to just her and the piano. It felt surreal. She was finally here. Would her story resonate? Would they hear her? In that moment, as her fingers brushed the keys, she realized this was more than just an audition. It was a leap. A leap into the unknown, where her fears could breathe, and her dreams could take flight. As the first notes drifted through the silence, she drew them in, not as a means to achieve success but as a chapter of her life unfolding. And then, with every chord, her essence poured out, each note telling a story richer than the last. But Mia didn't know if they were ready for the raw truth of her heart. Would they understand the weight of her words? Would they feel the music dance through them as it did in her soul? Mia inhaled deeply, letting the cool air fill her lungs. She could almost believe she was floating as she pressed down on the keys, the familiar vibrations igniting a spark that coursed through her body. As the first line slipped from her lips, it felt like the room melted away, leaving only her and the song, the one she had crafted with her heart. The melody surged like an ocean wave, swelling high and crashing softly, each note a ripple of her emotions. With every word, she laid bare her soul, the insecurities, the dreams, the warmth of her family's love. She captured light in darkness, demonstrating that every scar held a story, and each triumph of hers shone like a beacon. But as she moved toward the chorus, she became acutely aware of the eyes on her, darting between the judges' pensive faces, their brows furrowed, their lips thin. A pang of anxiety twisted in her gut. What were they thinking? Did they see the truth she bared, or were her emotions lost amidst their critical gazes? Pushing through the worry, she drew strength from the memories that filled her heart, her mother's encouraging smile, the way her father nodded in approval. They were right behind her in spirit, and that gave her courage. Just be yourself, she reminded herself, repeating her mother's words like a mantra. Each chord was deliberate, each note purposeful. She lost herself in the music, feeling the sweat on her brow and the pulse of her heartbeat matching the tempo of the piece. As she sang the last line, the final notes hung in the air, a soft echo fading into silence. Mia opened her eyes slowly, her heart racing in the aftermath. The room remained still for a breath, tension taut enough to slice through. Then, applause erupted. It was as if a dam had broken, flooding the space with approval. Surprised yet relieved, Mia risked a glance at the judges, their expressions no longer stern but transformed. One of the judges, a woman with short, blonde hair, smiled widely, and her eyes glistened with unshed tears. "That was beautiful," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "You have a real gift, raw and genuine." Mia felt a warmth spread through her, sweet relief mingling with disbelief. A lump formed in her throat, and she managed a shaky smile. The other judges nodded, exchanging smiles, and one clapped his hands together. "You really took us on a journey just now." She barely heard their words. Instead, her thoughts spiraled through her mind. She had shared herself completely with strangers, risking rejection and criticism. Instead, they saw her vulnerabilities and her dreams. As the adrenaline faded away, nerves began to creep back in the shadows of her mind. How would this moment define her? What if this was the highlight of her journey? "Next steps," one of the judges continued, "we want to hear more. You've got potential." Mia felt her heart lift further at their encouragement, but beneath the joy lay a question: would she be able to keep this up? Walking off the stage, the adrenaline still pulsing through her veins, she spotted her family. Their faces shone with pride, and in that moment, she felt anchored once again. But beneath all of it, lingering doubts circled, casting a shadow over the light she had felt. What if they called her back? What if the pressure only intensified? As she stepped into the bustling lobby, surrounded by faint whispers and conversations, her heart raced with a new intensity. Uncertainty loomed, but so did the flicker of opportunity. Could she balance this newfound attention with her own expectations? Mia scanned the room, contemplating her next move as her phone buzzed in her pocket. Curiosity gripped her. Who would it be? But her heart tightened at the thought of the potential message awaiting her. The anticipation was like standing at the edge of a diving board, teetering between that exhilarating leap and holding back. What awaited her on the other side? Mia fished out her phone, her hands trembling slightly. As she glanced at the screen, her pulse quickened. It was a group chat with her family, a flurry of messages popping up just seconds ago. Her mother had written, "We're so proud of you. Can't wait to celebrate together." That made her heart swell. She smiled, feeling a sense of belonging. But as the praises from her family filled her mind, doubt lingered. What if she couldn't top this performance? What if this was just a fluke? In the midst of her thoughts, a shadow crossed her path. It was one of the other contestants, a girl named Tessa, who had performed just before her. Tessa had a voice that could top charts, and in that moment, the memory of her own song turned into a haunting echo. "Hey," Tessa said, her expression a mix of surprise and something else. "Was it envy? You were really good up there." "Thanks," Mia replied, forcing a smile. "You were amazing too." Tessa shrugged, her cool demeanor slipping momentarily. "I just wish I could be as authentic as you." Mia's breath caught. Was that truly a compliment? The tension faded as they exchanged a quick, understanding glance. For just a moment, they were both artists, struggling in this vast ocean of expectations. As Mia stepped away, she realized this moment resonated far deeper than applause and praise. It was about connection. It was about showing others that they weren't alone in their journeys. Suddenly her phone buzzed again, and she opened the new message from a number she didn't recognize. Her heart raced. Was it the judges? "Mia, this is Liam from the show. I need to talk to you. Call me when you get a chance." Liam. The name was familiar, but her mind swirled with questions. Was he a judge or part of the production team? Why did he want to talk to her? A knot tightened in her stomach. "Everything all right?" Her father's voice pulled her from her thoughts. He stood beside her, a look of concern across his face. "Yeah, just. I got a message from someone. You'll figure it out. Just remember, we're here for you." He squeezed her shoulder, grounding her once more. Mia took a deep breath and weighed her options. Should she call Liam now? The air felt charged with possibility and fear. The pressure of this moment pressed on her like a weight she wasn't sure she could lift. Seizing the moment, she dialed the number. With each ring, her heart danced erratically. What could he possibly want? The moment he picked up, she felt exposed, raw as if she had stepped back on that stage. "Mia." His voice was calm but edged with urgency. "I wanted to discuss something important about your performance." Her stomach flipped. "Is it bad?" No. Not at all. Quite the opposite. We see a lot of potential in you." Mia's breath caught, but she couldn't shake the feeling of unease. "Then what's the catch?" Liam hesitated. "I think you might be ready for a unique opportunity and it could change everything." "Change everything?" She echoed, her mind racing. Could she handle something life-altering, or would it overwhelm her? Mia felt the weight of his words lingering in the air, charging the moment with a sense of destiny uncomfortably wrapped in doubt. Would she take the leap? Before she could respond, he continued, "Let us meet to discuss this more. I believe you have what it takes." Mia's heart danced, excitement mingling with fear. "Okay, when?" "Tomorrow afternoon. Just think about it. It could mean stepping into a whole new world." As he ended the call, Mia stood frozen for a moment, the noise around her fading. The potential future loomed ahead like a vast, uncharted ocean. What would she uncover if she took the plunge? Trepidation pulsed through her. More than just a leap into music, was this journey about discovering who she truly was? Mia stared at her phone, the silence stretching uncomfortably. Tomorrow. The word echoed in her mind like the last notes of her song. What lay before her was a mix of excitement and sheer dread. She felt like she was standing at the edge of a cliff, staring down into an unknown depth. "Are you okay?" her dad asked, breaking her concentration. "Yeah, just a lot to think about," she replied, trying to sound casual. The truth was, her life felt like it was about to pivot in a way she had never anticipated. Taking a deep breath, Mia decided to walk outside. The cool evening air brushed against her skin, a welcome contrast to the heat of her anxious thoughts. She needed to think clearly. A soft breeze rustled through the nearby trees, whispering secrets that seemed almost comforting. What did a whole new world really mean? Mia felt the weight of her own ambition pressing against her ribs. If she took this opportunity, would it make her feel more alive or would it drown her in expectations she couldn't meet? She strolled through the small park near her home, the soft crunch of gravel beneath her feet grounding her in the moment. Watching families gather, children playing, she felt a bittersweet pang in her chest. Mom and Dad would be happy, she murmured to herself. They had always encouraged her to follow her dreams. Why did she suddenly feel like she was letting them down? As she reached a bench, she sat down, her heartbeat echoing loudly in her ears. Pulling her phone from her pocket, she quietly reread the messages from her family. Their pride wrapped around her like a warm blanket, filling her with a sense of hope. But doubt darted around the edges, a nagging voice whispering, "What if you fail?" A young girl playing with a bright red kite caught her attention. The child's laughter rang out, pure and infectious. It made Mia smile. Did she remember what that felt like? The joy of not worrying about what came next. Moments like this pulled her back to reality. She realized her artistry wasn't just about her own journey. It was about the connections she could forge through music. If she could allow herself to be vulnerable, perhaps others would feel empowered too, like she once did listening to her own idols. Her phone buzzed, jolting her back. A text from Liam appeared, "Don't forget, it's tomorrow at 2 p.m. I'll be waiting. Trust this." Taking a deep breath, Mia began to type, her fingers hovering above the keyboard. Trust. It was more than a word, it was a leap of faith. Should she trust him? His sudden interest felt surreal. But then again, could this be the turning point she needed? She decided in that moment she wouldn't let fear hold her back. Instead, she would step forward, not just for herself, but for everyone who believed in her. With renewed determination, Mia texted back. "I'm in." As she sent it, a wave of relief washed over her, chasing away the shadows of doubt. It felt right. But as night began to settle in, a new question emerged: what awaited her in that meeting? Mia glanced up at the vast, starry sky. Each star twinkled differently, yet together they created something beautiful. A thought sparked, maybe she was meant to shine too. And just like that, she stood up, her thoughts a whirlwind of excitement and anxiety. Tomorrow was not just a meeting, it was the start of her next chapter. But still, part of her couldn't shake the unease. Would she be able to shine bright enough to be seen? With hope and courage battling inside, Mia turned towards home. The questions loomed heavily in the air, yet the thrill of anticipation pushed her onward. What awaited her might just change everything forever. Mia woke up before her alarm, her heart racing. Light streamed through the curtains, spilling into her room like a cascading waterfall. Today was the day. She swung her legs over the side of the bed, her feet instantly meeting the cool floor. The nerves danced with electricity, but excitement lurked behind them, urging her forward. After brushing her teeth, she splashed cold water on her face, holding her gaze in the mirror. "You got this," she whispered, trying to convince the reflection staring back at her. She picked up her phone to check the time. It was still early, but the thought of being prepared calmed her. In the kitchen, Her dad was flipping pancakes, a stack already forming. Their comforting smell wafted through the air. "Morning, champ," he greeted with a cheerful smile. "Hey, Dad," Mia replied, forcing a smile. She slid into a chair, stomach twisting. "You ready for today?" he asked, studying her face. "Yeah, I think so." The words came out a little too weak. He noticed. "Hey, Mia. Just remember, regardless of what happens, we're proud of you. This is about your journey, not anyone else's. Just be yourself." "Thanks, Dad," she murmured, trying to hold on to his words. After breakfast, Mia made her way to her small piano in the corner of the living room. Dust motes danced in the light as she played a few familiar notes. Her fingers glided over the keys, letting the music sink into her soul. It was her refuge. As she packed her bag, she found the sheet of music she had written long ago, the first piece she had composed. She couldn't help but smile. It felt like a good luck charm. Time slipped away, and soon it was noon. Every heartbeat echoed louder as she prepared to leave. "I'm heading out," she called to her dad. "Good luck, Mia. Break a leg," he shouted back, bringing a bright grin to her face. She stepped outside, the sun warming her skin, each step towards her destination brimming with anticipation. Once she reached the cafe where she was meeting Liam, nerves surged again. Her gaze flitted across the crowd, landing on him seated at a small table. He looked different, confident, focused, and an easy smile crossed his face when he saw her approach. "Hey! You made it!" Liam exclaimed, standing to greet her. "I wouldn't miss it." She felt a flicker of reassurance. "I've been thinking a lot about what you said," he began. "You deserve a shot, and I know you'll blow everyone away." "Thanks," she said softly, her heart pounding. They settled in at the table. The minutes passed filled with friendly chatter, but in the back of her mind, she couldn't shake the looming moment. The talk turned serious when Liam leaned forward, his voice lower. "So, Mia, we have a great opportunity. A label is coming. They want fresh talent. Do you think you'd be ready for that?" Her pulse quickened. This was the moment she dreamt of, but it also felt terrifying. What if she wasn't enough? "Just let your heart guide you," he encouraged, sensing her hesitation. The weight of his words sank in. To be herself, was that enough? As doubt flickered again, Mia felt a surge of clarity. This wasn't just about a label or success, it was about sharing her music and connecting with others. Liam's phone buzzed, distracting him. "Oh, it's happening earlier than I thought. We need to go," he announced. Mia's stomach flipped. This was it. As they left the cafe, an unshakable blend of fear and hope surged through her. Could she really do this? Moments later, the nerves surged as they stood in front of the venue, a small, intimate stage with a crowd whispering in anticipation. As she stepped up to the microphone, heart racing at an electrifying speed, she took a deep breath, channeling all her emotions into one moment. But then she noticed something out in the crowd. Someone she never expected to see. Mia's breath hitched. What would this mean for her? Would it support her or shake her confidence more than ever before? Mia's gaze locked onto her family, standing just a few feet away, their expressions a mixture of pride and concern. Her mother's eyes glistened with unshed tears, while her father stood solemnly, ready to catch her if she stumbled. The sight filled her with a rush of warmth, but the looming question remained: could she truly bear the weight of their hopes? She breathed deeply, letting the air fill her lungs, grounding her amidst the swirl of uncertainty. This was a chance not just to perform, but to show everyone who she was. A girl with dreams, struggles, and a music that flowed from her heart. Whatever happened next wouldn't just be an audition, it was a declaration. Mia approached the microphone, her fingers grazing the cool metal as she steadied herself. The crowd quieted, anticipation hanging thick in the air. She closed her eyes for a moment, allowing the notes of her new song to resonate in her mind. This was more than a melody, it was the story of her journey, a reflection of fear transformed into courage. She opened her eyes and began with the softest notes, lilting and hopeful. The song flowed like a river, each note a ripple pushing against the banks of hesitation. The rhythm surged and she poured herself into the performance, her voice rising with a confidence she didn't know she possessed. Every strum, every lyric echoed her life, her fears, and her newfound aspirations. As she moved into the chorus, the energy in the room shifted, a collective breath held, following her every word. The crowd began to sway, caught in the tide of her emotions. Mia's heart soared, feeling the connection with her audience. In that moment, she wasn't just singing, she was elevating those who had once felt lost, just as she did. The judges leaned in, smiles warming their faces, their nods egging her on. Each note reached deep into their hearts, awakening forgotten dreams. As she neared the final note, Mia felt invincible. The applause that erupted afterward was a union of joy and relief that swept through her like a summer storm. Tears brimmed in her eyes, but she didn't care, they were tears of joy and authenticity. She had done it. She had stepped into her voice, embracing the wild, unpredictable ride of her dreams. Mia, that was incredible. Liam's voice broke through the applause as he met her on stage. You really connected. I told you, you have something special. Her heart raced with a cocktail of disbelief and triumph. Thank you. I didn't know if I was enough, she admitted, her voice trembling. More than enough. You've captured their hearts, just like you captured mine. As she turned, her parents rushed forward, enveloping her in a tight embrace. Their pride shone through their teary eyes, and Mia felt a weight lift. No longer burdened by their expectations, they stood shoulder to shoulder, ready to navigate this new chapter together. Can we celebrate now? Her father chuckled, wiping a tear from his cheek. You've made us all so proud. Mia laughed, the sound bubbling from her heart like effervescent champagne. The worries that had once clouded her mind faded. She understood that pursuing her dreams didn't mean abandoning her family. It was about inclusion, about sharing her journey with the people who mattered most. Mia. A voice called out. One of the judges stepped forward, extending a hand. We'd love to talk to you about the next steps regarding a contract. Her heart raced anew, hope blooming within her like the bright daffodils that flowered every spring. With the light of opportunity shining down, she realized she wasn't just chasing a distant dream anymore, she was forging her own path, one note at a time. As the applause echoed in her ears and laughter filled their hearts, Mia felt transformed. She wasn't just a girl at the piano fading into obscurity. She was a woman ready to embrace her music, her family, and all the love that surrounded her. Her dreams, once shrouded in fear, now appeared dazzling and real. Let us go home and celebrate. She exclaimed, turning to them with a radiant smile, and together, they stepped into the light, ready to face what lay ahead. A family united, a dream ignited. Mia had taken the leap. Now, it was time for the world to hear her song, loud and proud. Don't let this moment pass. You need to subscribe now to catch every exclusive story to come. Leave a like if you believe in chasing dreams, and comment your thoughts on Mia's incredible journey. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second, we're all in this together.